Hello, this is Carol Ward on Healing Poetry, a Ministry of Words. This is episode 5, which is called Barriers and Growth. So when we talk about barriers, what do we think of? I mean, you put it visually, you can imagine a barrier as something physical, but it also can be something emotional. Physical, it could be something you see at the end of the road, like an actual roadblock, or it could be something much more personal, much more emotional. We all have different barriers to growth in different aspects of our lives, and in this respect, when we look at poetry, we have to see that barriers can actually be helpful in some ways, because it's by going through the barriers, going through the difficult stages, that you can actually get to growth and change. And this can be beneficial. I mean, like, we all have natural ups and downs, and that's quite normal. Obviously, there are times when things get really bad and we need to get help, or we need to ask someone for a chat on a smaller scale level. But when it comes to poetry, when I think about elements of my life where I needed extra help to get through those barriers, I found that often talking to people, listening, and also not dwelling on barriers as negatives, but actually seeing them as part of life experience that can enrich your writing and your life, is actually quite a positive thing, because you, out of every negative experience you have, you learn something. You may learn a new skill. You might be caring for somebody, or somebody who's sick, or you might have gone through a difficult relationship and you've learned how to adapt to changes in circumstances. It could be anything. And it's kind of realising that the skills you learn through going through those difficult experiences make you stronger, make you better, and actually make you write in an improved way because you've been enriched by what you've experienced. So I think absolutely, barriers are not a necessary negative thing if you learn from them. So I think that's important when we look at things like growth. So yes, so thinking about barriers on a personal level, if you're looking at it yourself individually, what do you think your barriers are? Sometimes identifying what you think they are can help you kind of plan on how to deal with them. And think about, maybe I could make a SMART goal, or maybe an affirmation that can kind of help me through this. You know, it could be several affirmations. It could be writing a few things down that make you feel positive about yourself, or sitting amongst friends, just discussing what's going on at the moment for you and learning from them as much as you learn from yourself. So there's much to be said for enrichment in your life from going through barriers. Yes, they can knock your confidence, but it's actually realising that in the long term it will build your confidence to acknowledge those barriers, and maybe learning to do something differently. Maybe you could learn the language, maybe you could, when you have time, develop some skill or other, maybe cooking, or maybe you want to do more baking or anything, and that can kind of build your confidence up in whatever element of life it is. It doesn't have to be just poetry. This can affirm your life skills and enrich your life. So I think it's really important to not see barriers as an entirely negative thing, but something that you can learn from and be enriched by in the long term. So that is my episode 5 for today, which was Healing Poetry, a Ministry of Words. And it was episode 5, Barriers and Growth. Thank you for listening.